I also wanted, the other thing I wanted to talk about today is this whole notion of civility and incivility. I've been seeing this whole string of op-eds, the New York Times, the Washington Post, and other places, basically suggesting that if Democrats start, yelling and screaming and being upset, if the Red Hen restaurant wants to say no to Sarah Huckabee Sanders, for example, that incivility is going to hurt us because we're the party of rationality, and rationality wins the day, right? That's what you really need. Is you need this kind of rational perspective. You may recall back in 2012. And tip of the hat, by the way, to the people over at Democratic Underground who put this up on the top of their site. They've got a nice meme there. Back in 2012, there was a baker in Virginia. Joe Biden was vice president of the United States. He wanted to buy something from this guy, and the guy said, no, I'm not going to serve you. Just like the Red Hen restaurant said to Sarah Huckabee Sanders, no, we're not going to serve you. What did the Republicans do when a baker said to the vice president of the United States, no, I'm not going to serve you? Paul Ryan invited him to address one of his rallies, a campaign rally. The baker introduced Paul Ryan. They embrace this kind of stuff. But when Democrats, when a progressive says no, you get Sarah Huckabee Sanders tweeting about it using her official account, by the way, which is against the law. She will not be held accountable, of course. The Republican Party of Virginia organizes a boycott. Alex Jones says, hey, start doing secret video surveillance of this restaurant. The president calls the restaurant dirty and filthy in a tweet. And Trump supporters are sending death threats to other Red Hen restaurants all over the country because they're not, quite smart enough to figure out which one's which. Or maybe they think it's a chain or something. Who knows? I mean, hey, aren't all restaurants chains? No. So, civility, really? After the Tea Party, the Koch brothers funded this massive movement where these people came out here in these tri-cornered hats with tea bags hanging off them and just flipped out that there was a black guy in the White House and that he wanted to give us health care. My God, we can't have that. That's socialism, don't you know? Just ask the Koch brothers. It's socialism. What Barack Obama tried to do, giving everybody in the country health insurance. And so, they got out there and they protested and they disrupted things. People were afraid to do town halls. It was massive. It was all over the country. And it was not civil. And guess what? The Republicans won as a result of that. This AstroTurf-funded thing, this Tea Party funded by the Koch brothers, using a meme that was developed first by the tobacco industry. Back in the 80s, the tobacco industry they actually tried this. They had the Tea Party domain. They created an organization called the American Tea Parties for Smokers' Rights. It was a smokers' rights campaign, right? We don't want no stinking taxes on our cigarettes. And how dare the government say that they're killing people? And but it had died. The tobacco industry got killed in the late 90s by lawsuits from people like Mike Papantonio. And so when their influence waned, the Koch brothers came along and said, hey, Tea Party, nice idea. Let's pick that up and use it. They're using the tobacco industry's denial of science stuff for their climate change thing. In fact, some of the same scientists, or people who call themselves scientists. But the way that the Republicans have reached this point of owning the White House, the Senate, the House of Representatives, the U.S. Supreme Court, and a majority of state houses and state senates and governors' positions, the way that they did this was not by being civil. It was by being outraged in the streets, by being outraged on television, by being outraged on radio, by being outraged in their op-eds, by being outraged in the face of Democratic politicians. The Republicans won. And we're being told by our pundits, hey, dial back the outrage. Really? I am outraged. What these guys, what these billionaires are doing to this country, billionaires like Donald Trump and billionaires like Wilbur Ross and billionaires like Betsy DeVos, what these billionaires are doing to this country with their giant tax break, their $5 trillion tax cut, borrowing $1.5 trillion on behalf of you and me, in the names of you and me, we're going to have to pay it back. And now they're coming out and saying, oh, gee, have you noticed the national debt just went up $1 trillion? We've got to cut $1 trillion out of Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security to make up for that, says Paul Ryan, says the Republican Party, says Donald Trump. And the media, well, you know, let's talk about something that's a little sexier. Hey, there's some missing kids. Let's talk about that. But yes, I'm outraged about that too. But we can talk about more than just one thing, can't we? The Supreme Court struck down antitrust laws basically yesterday. I don't see any discussion about that in the rather the monopolistic media that we have. This is nuts.